This story begins with my mom leaving her night class and heading to her nursing job. Losing her balance, she slipped on the ice and damaged her spine. She originally thought the backpack had broken her fall and she'd be fine, but later she landed in the hospital, and there she learned she had lost the use of her left arm and leg. She was devastated. She had to quit her job, which she loved, and immediately sunk into a deep depression. I invited her to come live with me so I could help her on her journey back to independence. I remember her being so fearful, and there were times when I had to believe for her. But she was a trooper and pushed through all her fears. You could see her confidence growing week by week, month to month. But then a doctor's recommendation for pain injections caused a major setback. She got vertigo and was falling all the time. We made the ultimate decision to place her in a nursing home for 24/7 care. She'd be with medical staff round the clock to take care of her. So, what could go wrong, right? Everything. In less than a year's time, she nearly died. We're still inquiring into her medical records, but there were obvious signs of neglect and abuse. She was left in bed so long, her legs had become contracted. She couldn't get food or liquids down, and her weight dropped to 70 pounds. She also developed a severe infection that took months to resolve, and her hands trembled almost nonstop. Worse, she'd lost the ability to communicate and tell us what on earth happened. When I saw her again for the first time, I could barely hold back the tears. It was a decision that will haunt me for the rest of my life. All the years of therapy and confidence boosting went right down the drain. The doctors gave her no chance and advised me to prepare for hospice. But when I looked in my mom's eyes, I didn't see someone who was ready to give up. So I didn't give up on her. I figured out how to get food in her without feeding tubes and worked closely with the doctors and nurses and dietitians and therapists. And slowly, she began to be responsive. She was eventually moved off the critical list and was finally released to a rehab facility. But I knew this time would be a much tougher and longer journey than the last, and I worried if she had the strength and resiliency to make another comeback. Since she required far too much care for me to bring her home, we had to make the hard decision to place her in yet another nursing home. But because of her weak state, I knew we now needed more one on one assistance to help her with hand feeding and dressing. But who? And then along came Callie. Callie was a caregiver recommended by an agency, but she was so much more than that. She was an angel sent from God. As a stroke survivor, she could relate to Mom in a very special way. Mom came alive under her care and encouragement. We saw her smiling again for the first time in a long, long time. Now, Mom is beginning to talk and is able to feed herself, and more importantly, gaining weight. She still has a long road ahead of her, but it certainly looks more promising. And Callie had a big part to play in that. We definitely want Callie to stay on with Mom, but after years of medical expenses, we are running out of funds. So your donations, should you be able to give, would enable us to keep Callie and give my mom the best shot at making a recovery. It would also right a wrong that was not of her doing. and restore whatever years God intended for her to have on this earth. Thank you, and God bless.